This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You are watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Okay, so Conor Benn is set to have his UKAD hearing over the whole VADA situation surrounding the Chris Eubank Jr. fight before it fell apart. The hearing should be completed within the next day to next few days. Now, apparently, part of Conor Benn's defence is based upon the fact that he gave up his British Boxing Board of Control licence, which means that he's outside of UKAD's jurisdiction. And it's purely a case of whether or not that UKAD can rule on a drugs test sample collected by VADA. Now, you have to remember, when that whole situation was going on, Conor Benn failed VADA on 2 occasions. VADA. UKAD found nothing. So, when we're hearing that UKAD are the ones investigating it alongside the British Boxing Board of Control, as I said in the very, very beginning, what are they getting all hell bent out of shape for? What are they looking into? What are they investigating? Because if anything that needs investigating, it's probably UKAD's protocol, is it not? It's UKAD's testing system. Because clearly there's an issue there where fighters are being tested and found to have something in their system on VADA, but yet on UKAD it doesn't. So I do find it strange that a fighter who can pass UKAD could potentially be banned by UKAD because they failed another testing system that apparently the British Boxing Board of Control and UKAD don't even recognise. Now, I said a while ago that when Conor Benn was going through this situation and the WBC come out with their whole statement along the lines of, looks like it could have been an egg consumption as to be the reason for Conor Benn. Now, Conor Benn, of course, denied that it could possibly be, and he believed that the labs were guilty or fraudulent or whatever it was, okay? So, some form of contamination. But I said that when the WBC came out and pretty much exonerated Conor Benn, there's no way that the British Boxing Board of Control, UKAD, are going to go against what the WBC have done. They're not going to do that. Or highly unlikely. Now, this whole situation, there has been a bit of a witch hunt, and it certainly appears that the biggest witch hunters out there were from the British Boxing Board of Control and, of course, TalkSport. They were like the 2 main ones. Now, I think some people, depending on where you sit as to whether or not you believe Conor Benn is guilty or innocent, but those who believe that he's guilty, only some, will actually want him to be guilty. So therefore, they will be fully backing the British Boxing Board of Control and their handling of it, and TalkSport. They're going to be loving the videos and whatever else. But for me, I've always said, let's wait and see what happens. Because ultimately, yes, it's a fighter's responsibility, and how certain things got into his system is his or her problem. Okay, it's not my problem, it's not anyone else's. These are the rules, you need to be careful. Simple as that. And yes, accidents can happen. Now, of course, Conor Benn and his team have come out with, there's something with his, something within his system that processes and breaks down egg consumption in a different way to what you and ours would. So when you have some kind of contamination in those eggs, it takes Conor Benn's system a lot longer to get rid of it than it would, say, most people's. Now, I say you and I mean, I wouldn't know. Maybe I carry this very same thing, the same gene or whatever. But listen, ultimately, it's very complicated. It's very, very messy. And if UKAD and the British Boxing Board of Control do try to ban Conor Benn, then I don't think they can afford to take the hit that Conor Benn's going to give him. So no matter what they feel about the whole situation, I think they'll clear him anyway. I really do. And I've said it all along. I think they'll clear him anyway. They can't afford to go into a legal battle with Conor Benn, and especially when he's got Matchroom on his side, for, the might of those and the big lawyers and everything else. The British Boxing Board of Control can't go against that kind of thing. They can't, whether they've got insurance or not. Now, some people say, but it's your own liability. If you took something, if you eat something, consume something, whether it be food, water, or however, it's your problem. It's your problem. And UKAD need to stick to the rules, and the British Box Board of Control need to follow that up. And because he got this thing in his system anyway, from eggs that apparently we don't have here in the UK, these certain eggs with this particular substance, you have to go outside the UK. And who knows, maybe he has been outside the UK. Maybe he did. And as I've always said, to me it always seemed a bit bizarre that it would be something like that, but you never know. You never know. The whole thing's been a mess, and I think a lot of it's been blown out of proportion by the likes of TalkSport and what have you. I really do. So anyway, the fact that he's give up his British Box Board of Control license means he's outside the UKAD's jurisdiction. Now that is true, you could say that, but ultimately, if he ever wants to fight in the UK again, he's going to have to apply for his British Box Board of Control license. At that point, they can then hit him with their findings from this particular case. That's how it works, isn't it? Now, can they actually ban him right now? I mean, I suppose they could. But there again, how can you ban somebody who doesn't have a British Box Board of Control license? But again, some people say, well, he gave up his license because he wanted to avoid all of this, so he can't get banned. Very messy, isn't it? Anyway, I just want this thing solved. One way or another, solved. I know some people have already made up their minds one way or another. For me, I want to wait for the full case to be completed. Now, if it's going to happen within the next couple of days, I won't know about it. Okay, I won't know about it until like a few days' time, because I'm going on holiday. But anyway, when I get back, hopefully it's all sorted out, right? So, years. Anyway, drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you next video.